Hey everybody, Adam from High Desert Hollow here, coming to you from the high pasture out on the top swale. And the reason we're out here is because I've had multiple requests come in to go more in depth on swales and kind of what they are, how they work and why they're good for our climate, and then kind of to go into more of how I decided to put them where I did. So what we're going to do is I want to put together a two-part series. First part being what swales are, and then the second part of why we put them where we did. So stick with me and we'll go through the process and hopefully answer some questions. So what's a swale? A swale is basically a water harvesting system designed to prevent erosion and soak water into the ground, which is really important in a lot of situations, especially here at High Desert Hollow, because we're especially that. We're a desert. We're in southeastern Idaho. We're a high elevation, so we have colder climates, but we get very little precipitation. So that being said, what's a swale? A swale is basically a ditch, but it's a ditch on contour. And when I say on contour, that means it's level. Most ditches in agricultural situations are designed to move water from point A to point B, and that's good. I mean, that's necessary. We use those here at High Desert Hollow as well. But up in the high pasture, we have the swales, our mainframe swales, and what I'm using those for is to grow trees. And like I said, what I'm trying to do is they are just dead level. And when they're dead level, any sort of rain or snow melt that hits it will actually go down and it stops it. So that way it prevents it from picking up speed and taking the water off of my property, number one, and also taking away my precious topsoil. That's one of our largest exports in the United States is topsoil. We export more of that out into the ocean every year than anything else we grow or produce. So what we're trying to do is stop and prevent that, and also utilize the water the best we can because we don't have that much of it. Now I do use our normal ditches to get water from our canal to the swales and soak them in periodically, but I want to utilize all the natural water as well. And what it also does is when it soaks the water in, is it gets it down to the tree roots where they need to be and where the plants can use it the most, instead of letting it evaporate as we sprinkle it on and all that. And if you remember the video I had earlier, the opening segment, it was luscious green. That is all just from natural soaking in and letting the plants get the nutrients and the water that they need. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring you up closer. I'm up here in the top end of my garden. I've got a bed here we're not using right now. And what I'm going to try to do is kind of give you a demonstration and explanation of kind of what a swale does, how it works, and the different things we can put into it. I mean, you can incorporate ponds, you can, or all sorts of different things. And you can use it to feed little water features, which gives you another aspect. It gives us another environment for amphibian life, the frogs and stuff that are going to be eating the different bugs. It's just a good system all the way around. So I'll bring you up close here and we'll go from there. But anyways, so we've got our hill, or whichever. Like I said, when it rains, when it snows, if I was just to take and start dumping water up here on the top portion, it's going to come down the hill. And the farther down the hill it goes, the faster it's going to go, and the more dirt it's going to take with it. This good topsoil that we've got, we don't want to lose that. Work hard to develop that topsoil. I don't want to lose any of it. And if I can use less water, not lose my topsoil, I'm going to put a swale in. So, that being said, we've got the water coming in up here, coming down the hill. Basically, what I'm doing is, happens to be a trowel I'm using right now, but we're going to take and we're going to dig a ditch, and it's going to be level around this hill, and we're going to do it so that way it pushes the loose dirt on the downhill side. And what's going to happen is we kind of relief that back cut just a little bit so it's not such a sharp drop off into it, so that way when the water comes it kind of just real mellow in the way it comes into the bottom of the swale there. And it's really crucial and important that the bottom of this swale is perfectly level, that this is no higher than this over here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do what they call dress the swale. And with that,
we're going to do is just basically all that dirt we piled up, we're just going to pull it downhill just a little bit. So we still have the water, the swale here, so it's stopping the water here. And we've got this loose pack. There's no pack to it at all. It's just loose dirt. And we want to keep it that way. We don't want to walk on it. We don't want to pack it down, because that way it makes it so that the water will soak in better, faster, quicker, and we'll be able to utilize it for the plants that we plant on the downhill side. So our water's come down, it's come to here, it's stopped. In a large rain event, or if you're putting in outside water source like what we are off the canal, this will fill up. In Idaho, southeastern Idaho, I highly doubt I'll ever fill this up on natural rainfall on its own. We just don't get enough. We live in the high desert. So it's just not going to happen. But I want to be able to use every bit I can, and I want to soak it in. So it's coming to here. So anyways, so it's going to fill up. And once it fills completely up, we got a problem, because the water's going to go somewhere. And if anybody's ever seen pictures of a dam breaking, it's ugly. We'll get a little trickle over the top, and once that little trickle happens, it'll start to break out bigger, 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 and pretty soon it'll just wash out. So what we do is we put in what we call a level sill. And what a level sill basically is we've got our downhill berm built up here. We've decided that we only want it to fill up 3/4 of the way. So we take a piece of equipment, something heavy, and we're going to pack down a level sill. And the point here being is now this swale will fill no more than this, and once it gets to this full, it's not one little channel it's going to try to run out of, it's spread out over a big area. And that way when it comes to this, it's going to sheet over it real slow and go downhill to the next swale, or if this is the last swale in your line, that's when you're done with the water and you're going to turn it loose to the next person down the line. Whether it be the neighbor or borrow pit, I mean, whatever it's going to be, you've utilized it as much as you can. That being said, if you got a large piece of property, it would be probably beneficial to come back and put another swale below the first one, which is what we've done, and I plan on putting in multiple more, and you're going to continue the process all the way down. So that way, the water, any water that runs over is going to hit this and soak in here to as much as it can soak in, and then same thing. We'll have another level sill, preferably off of the line of the first one, then it'll run down to the next one. Okay, so now we figured out that. The other thing you can work into this, and I've seen it done, I've actually done it, I've got one. On the end of one of these swales, if you want, you can actually build up a small dam and have a holding pond. So the way that's going to work is it's just designed so it holds more water. So we've got our dam built up. So now as this swale fills, it's going to run down here, and it'll have to fill the pond first. And then when the pond gets full, then it starts to backfill into the swale. And what that does is it utilizes all this runoff water to go to the pond, and then it's still soaking it in, but if it works into your design, it's a good feature to have. So that being said, we've got our swales, we're harvesting all this water, what do we do with it? Well, the main purpose behind a swale system is to grow trees. And in our situation, we're going to be growing trees on the swales, on the berms downhill the swales, and then I've got them spaced apart, and I'll get into this more in depth on the next video, but so that way we can graze different animals in between them. It's called a civil pasture model. It's based on the savanna design of over in Africa and stuff like that. So being a tree growing system though, is originally what we're going to do now is we've got my little cool pretend trees, and we're planting these. You don't want to plant them right in that level sill, but we're planting them just downhill of the swale. And you can plant, I would recommend planting all sorts of trees. You want nitrogen fixers, the ones that'll do the actual help put nitrogen back in the soil. Production trees, we've planted apple trees, I've planted elderberry bushes, peach trees, pear trees, pretty much everything we like to eat, we've planted. It's just a great system. And it's like I say, what we're doing is we're just stopping erosion. They're slowing erosion down considerably and helping soak that water into the much needed soil. So hang tight with me for a minute. I'm going to go get the hose, and I think we'll try to put some water in this to kind of give you an idea kind of what it looks like once it has water in it. All right, so we've got our swales built, we've got our level sill in, got our trees planted, got a little pond at the end, should be good to go. Now, just for demonstration purposes and ease, I'm not going to try to simulate rainfall. I'm just going to fill the pond and we're going to let it go from there. And you'll kind of get the idea of what we're doing and what we're accomplishing. See, the swale's filled up and my level sill's starting to sheet the water out over the top of it. Just a nice, easy flow of the water, and it comes right instead of real fast, gushing amount of water that's going to cause erosion and tear up my ground. Just runs out nice and easy, comes down, gets stopped at the next swale in the line, where we're going to use it again. We're going to have more trees planted below that. And you can plant all sorts of trees, and you can scale this system up or down. However, there's that other level sill that I was talking about. You can do it as a full forest system if you want to put the time and money and effort into it. Or you can scale it way down into a garden-based system, which is what we've done here. We're in the top end of my contour-based garden system, which is basically just that. It's a small, scaled-down swale system designed to stop, hold, and soak in the water. We don't have to water the garden near as much just for the fact that is what it is. Way neat system. It's proven, it works, it conserves water, prevents erosion, and it's just a natural way to do it that doesn't require a whole bunch of inputs from me. Once I've got the inputs done of digging the swales and getting them put in, it's done. I don't have to do anything with it from there on out. I plant my trees grow, they continue to harvest the water, and it takes care of itself. So, there you go. Alright everybody, so that completes Swales Part 1. I'm actually coming to you right now from the top swale again to finish this out. And this time I'm next to some peach trees that I planted this spring, just from seed. And they've received no outside sprinkler input or any other water brought to them besides what was in the swale. So, and as you can see, I mean, I've got multiple trees over 3 foot tall. So stay tuned for Swales Part 2, where I go into more of the way I designed them and why I put them to where they're at. But anyways, in the meantime, we're just here trying to live a more self-reliant lifestyle and promote modern homesteading. Adam with High Desert Hollow, signing out.
So what's a swale? Swales